So I wanted to talk a little bit about security
Yeah.
today. So they just had a conference in Tokyo called Pwn2Own, and they actually hacked the iPhone 10, the Samsung Galaxy S9, and the Xiaomi Mi 6, and
Ooh.
they did it really, really fast. Um, so they won $225,000 on the first day of the event, and apparently it was cracked within 24 hours. So I wanted to open up a little bit of a discussion about phone security. And Matt, do you think your phone's secure? Do you act like it is when you use it?
Do I act like it? Yeah, I act like it. But really, who am I, right? Like, remember last week we talked about Donald Trump's iPhone getting hacked by the Chinese and the Russians, and they both said, yeah, we do it, right? I mean, if you're a high profile individual, then yeah, you should be concerned. Personally, what do I use my phone for? Yeah, I use it at work, but really, who's going to be like, oh, let's see what project Matt's working on now, right? Like, I I think that they are easy to hack, absolutely. And I am kind of surprised that different companies, especially the large giant ones, allow us to bring our phones. I remember when cameras first showed up on cell phones, and it was a big deal. And I had one of the first Windows mobile devices that actually had
Oh,
a
yeah.
camera on it. And I remember my boss looked at it and he freaked out because I had a camera on my phone and I could go around and take pictures like some kind of a spy of all of our drawings and projects we were working on. Like, I was like, I don't know why you're freaking out so much. And they actually passed a rule, our corporation, it was a major corporation, and they passed a rule that you weren't allowed to have a phone with a camera on it. And this was during the BlackBerry craze, and Blackberries didn't have cameras at first.
Really?
Yeah, and Blackberries were known to be far more secure, and they were far more secure. And that was kind of the reason of why corporations went with BlackBerry as opposed to iPhones and when Android came out. So I guess it would be interesting to compare if BlackBerry was still around, what type of security features they would have. But
Well,
yeah,
people are doing their online banking all the time. I know
yes,
I even do Bitcoin transactions on my phone. I have PDFs that I pull up that maybe could be a little more secure. My social media documents on Google Drive that I use. I mean, all of those things technically could be compromised by hackers. And these people in Tokyo did it under 24 hours with all of the latest phones, all of the latest software. I mean, we think if we update our software, we're secure, but we're not.
I
And
agree.
I think
Yeah.
this is a good time to remind listeners that maybe your mobile phone's not the right place to have sensitive information on it, like banking and money. And
And photos if you're a celebrity.
that's right. Or even if you're not.
But banking is an interesting one. I think I'm going to look into this hackathon that happened that you're talking about here and just see like what kinds of aspects of the phone were they able to hack into, because I love how easy it is to do my banking on my phone. I deposit checks on my phone by signing the back and taking pictures. It uses my fingerprint to access my app on my phone. I send email transfers all the time. I mean, when was the last time I stepped into a bank? Years ago.
I'll tell you what, people are still stepping into the banks here in California. The other day I had to wait 45 minutes in line. Wah, wah. But you're right. It sure is convenient. But if somebody stole your phone and if they were able to hack it and get into those
Bypass the
directories,
fingerprint. Yeah.
yeah, where your CIBC account is or whatever it is that you use, they might be able to find some information. And but it's not the end of the world. I mean, we're not big corporations, but I still think you think you're secure and you're really not. I think there's a lot of things we don't know about who can access our things, um, including our cameras and our microphones. And did you know that Mark Zuckerberg actually covers his camera with tape?
Yes. I actually saw that. So I saw a picture and I saw the tape and I thought, oh, he's one of those paranoid people because lots of people do it. And it just seems to be that like older people tend to have the tape over it, not necessarily the younger generation. But but I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think they're more, it doesn't matter what generation you are, more of us are becoming paranoid about people hacking and using our software and our hardware. And one of my biggest concerns are self-driving cars. I mean, that's another debate we can get into. Like, what if somebody takes over your car? Do they kidnap you and take you to where they want?
Why am I driving to Mexico?
Yeah, or have you drive off a cliff? Like, there's all kinds of concerns there. So security, I mean, it's a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar industry, and it's just going to get bigger as the Internet of Things happens through 5G.
It's so interesting that all this money being spent on security is because we can't trust people. It's too bad, right? We could save so much
Yeah.
money as a society if people were just honest.